Who are the Dallas Cowboys' best top 10 according to Boss Cowboy? Well, getting ready to obviously get into this. This is something that is interesting because everybody might have a different top 10 for the current Cowboy regime. So I can already, hear the mystery because mine is going to be just a tad bit different than what maybe most would have in terms of what's popular. So get ready. So starting it off, kicking it off first, my first guy, number 10, is Tyrone Smith. Now, a lot of people would have him a lot higher, but I don't because I think he's finally starting to age. I think it's finally starting to catch up with Mr. Tyrone Smith, to where it was always said, when he was healthy, he was always top three. Looking at how he played when he came back from COVID, we can no longer say that. So the question would be, was his performance on the latter end of the season, was it more so COVID or was it him starting to age? We don't quite know because we got to see him on a fresh start to know for sure. But because I'm uncertain, I think it's time to start, in my opinion, downgrading the former greatness of Tyrone Smith until he showed different. My next person that I will put on the list, in order, is Mr. CeeDee Lamb, and that's not bad to be 9. But he also kind of some prove it situations to where everybody's waiting to see, is he truly a number one? Like, I think he can do it, but we never really saw him just totally take over. Now, was it his fault? Was it the system fault? Who knows? All I know is in 2022 he gonna get his chance, but until I see it, I don't want to say it. Not quite yet. So my next guy, that I will put number 8 on most talented Cowboy players as of now, is I will put Trevon Diggs, yes, over CeeDee Lamb. I think he's trending up a lot faster, a lot greater, and because you got to consider what he did with all the balls that he was able to intercept. Remember, that's on a very short period of even playing the cornerback position. So that alone might have him honestly kind of underrated on my list, because Diggs, he's trending towards a Hall of Fame career. There is no way you can continue the trend of interceptions the way that he's doing and not end up in a yellow jacket. He will clean up the technical side because corner is, again, new to him, and that's just what it is. And with it being a new position, it's just kind of fair to expect a learning curve, because Trevon Diggs is the man, but it's one of those things that we all gotta be patient and want to see just a little bit more before we totally anoint him as the guy that's going to be the future lockdown. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't even want no parts of his game to change at all, like at all. Like, even if he getting caught on the way that he was, I'm cool with that. I'm all the way cool with that. I have no problems with it because I think when you are able to get the attention that he was able to get, from people trying to attack him, especially him being assigned to the number 1 corners for a majority of the season, one thing that's for sure is when you think you could attack him, that's going to keep quarterbacks throwing that ball in his direction. So I wouldn't want, just to be honest, a perfect cover corner, because if he becomes a perfect cover corner, they're not gonna throw to him. And I value a guy that can get the ball, so I wouldn't want them to change not a lick of his game. I think his game is just right as it is. So So, but that's definitely where I have him on this list of the top 10. I have him at 8. So, surprisingly, some people might not agree with this, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there as I see it. My number 7 guy is Jayron Kearse. Now, this is a hard one between Kearse and Diggs because Kearse got you the ball more, but Jayron was more consistent on the little things, like in terms of being one of the best tacklers in the league. He got him a decent amount of interceptions, but then it was the other things like being the leader of the guys, being the leader of the defense, having the responsibilities that was uncommonly assigned to a guy of his tenure, to be awarded the green dot from a safety position and playing multiple positions. He has a lot of versatility that's underrated. So I definitely put him as number 7 on my list because, he's just really somebody that's too important to the dynamic of shaping a young defense. So I think 7 is about right for him. And I think maybe by next year, we go likely see him rise. So this one might surprise some of y'all, but high also on my list is Ezekiel Elliot. Yes, I have Zeke very high as the number 6 Cowboy on my list, mainly because I'm not knocking him for a knee injury. I'm not gonna knock him for playing through what a lot of people couldn't or wouldn't play through. I'm rewarding him for that. To me, that was very tough what he did. It shows his tenacity, his commitment, that he wants it, that he's a warrior. Now, sometimes our silly media will say stuff like, was he selfish for wanting to play? Until you go do your job and run around with men trying to attack you at your pain point, I don't want to hear nothing about selfish when it comes to Mr. Ezekiel Elliott. Because as far as I know, it was only 7 running backs to reach 1,000 yards, even with the extra game in a 17-game season. Ezekiel was 1. And I'm not going to knock him for that. I think that's a very good thing. And I think he's going to come back with a major vengeance. As long as he's healthy, I think Ezekiel is going to ball out. So we getting ready to get to 5. And before we go up into 5, y'all make sure y'all stop and do me one favor. I need y'all to stop and first like this video before I get into the second half of the top 5 Cowboys, because the rest of it, I guarantee you, is going to probably surprise you. I'm pretty sure that you're going to see some stuff on here that you're going to be like, wow. But hey, I'm independent. I say what I think and I never apologize. That's just what I do. And I measure this Kool-Aid, so it's just what it is. Number 5. Hopefully I'll hit that like button. Number 5 on the list, Mr. Zack Martin. Like, some people be like, you have him 5? Yeah, I don't have him top 3. Some of y'all would, but I don't. In my eyes, I think he's starting to age. And he's starting to age to the point to where he's, to me, not the best even offensive lineman as he's been for years. Now, he's still an Iron Man. He's still very consistent. But in my eyes, I'm starting to see the age get to him. At this point, the guy that I will go ahead and put out there as my number 4 top Cowboy in terms of talent, Terence Steel. Yep, I did put Terence Steel over Zack Martin because honestly, it's about what the film said. Like, when you look at the film, it's impossible to really look at the film and try to find any offensive lineman that was a better run grader than him. Now, if you're talking about a greater PFF, listen, I'm not listening to none of them. I'm talking about the film. Like, there's no way to look at the film and watch how he manhandled guys, even right beside Zack Martin, but then turn around and say he shouldn't be rewarded a bump, especially given the difficulty or the degree of difficulty that he was under. So a lot of times in gymnastics, you'll see somebody that might make mistakes, but they get a better score with their gymnastics score because the routine that they was doing was way more difficult. It's the same thing with Terence Steel. He was thrown in the fire as an undrafted free agent, and he continued to get better and better and better, to the point to where he was a very solid right tackle. And I quote, Will McClay said that you can't find first rounders and second rounders that was playing at the level of Steel. That's a direct quote from Will McClay. But not only that, he had to, from a degree of difficulty, also play the left tackle without a lot of training. And he got beat up the first time he did it against Denver, but he also continued to improve and improve and improve and improve. So some people go wait till it's obvious. I'm not gonna wait till it's extremely obvious. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Terence Steel is getting ready to take the mantle of one of our best linemen on this team. These other guys are getting older. He's a younger guy, and his arrow is just straight up. And I guarantee you nobody else gonna have him this high, but hey, that's why it's my list and not yours. Third on my list, this gonna surprise some people, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Finish him.
Yes, I said it. DeMarcus Lawrence is third on my list in terms of one of the most talented players for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I said it. Yeah, because he was averaging a turnover every game when he came back. And if you can't see the leadership plus play impact the tank, I just don't know what you're looking at. I just have no idea what you're looking at. Like, it's just obvious that he is the straw that stirs the defense. It's what it is. So I'm not denying that. And the only thing about him is it's gonna be his ability to stay healthy. But if he stay healthy, y'all get ready for a massive year with Tank. He's motivated from these young guys. He know these guys are coming for his job. The difference between him and, to me, Lyle Collins is he also puts in a major amount of work when he's off. You know, so when he came back from his injury with his foot, he came back better. He came back leaner. You saw that he was putting in the work to prepare to be back, and it showed it instantly as soon as he hit the field. Number two, Micah Parsons. This not even hard, because at this point, Micah Parsons is number two and could be number one, but right now he's number two because we talking about somebody that's not just talented. We talking about somebody that's generationally talented. We talking about when we first started calling him Baby LT last year, it was laughter. Now people say that and they serious. They dead serious, because what you looking at is true generational talent when you dealing with Micah Parsons, and you dealing with somebody that's at the very beginning of his development. Sadly, what was also understood, and I feel like I understood, I'm gonna do a video on this, there's also another level and another gear to his game. And I said another gear, not just another level. It's a whole nother gear. Now it's hard to see it because he's so freakish, but if you watch him close, I ain't gonna get into my video. I'm gonna save that video, but I'm gonna talk about what I see in Micah Parsons going to a whole new level. But he is currently my two. My number one. Make sure y'all hit that like before we do it. And I want to see y'all list too. Don't look at my list and not give me your list. I want your list too. My number one, some of y'all gonna hate this because I already know how y'all are, but it's easy. It's Dak. Yeah, Mr. Dak Prescott is the number one talented player on the squad. And I say that without hesitation. Because first of all, my number one and my number two are the only two players on this team that was looked at as nationally the best players. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. All of that was what Michael was looked at. But then the first 8 games, the leading candidate for MVP was Dak. See, Micah Parsons has not yet been even put in that conversation. Dak has been put in MVP conversation 3 times. As a rookie in 2020 and in 2021. It's 3 times that Dak was in the conversation of MVP. So some of y'all, I'm gonna let y'all make this hard, but I'm not gonna make this hard. Dak is the number one talented player on our squad. One of the things that Jerry Jones said that I think a lot of people might not have caught. He said, you got to look at the team without Dak to understand the value of Dak. So a lot of people make up stories and they say Dak had it perfect when he was a rookie. That's one of the biggest lies that was ever told on the face of this planet. Because ain't it funny, the year before, quarterbacks that was more seasoned and veteran quarterbacks could only win 4 games. But it was perfect, according to what these naysayers say. And then you look at obviously what happened to the production when his ankle was injured. Like, if you can't see by now the value of quarterbacks to optimism for the Dallas Cowboys, I just don't know what to tell you. But this is my top 10. I'm interested to see yours. I'm pretty sure some of y'all gonna have some critiques. It might even be some scoffing and some laughing at it. It's gonna be some clapping. It's gonna happen. But I would just say, before you critique, I would ask everybody, before you critique, also list yours. I think that's the first thing to do. List your top 10. So I will be back. And the next time I'm going to be talking about the 10 favorites. I'm going to be talking about the 10 favorite Cowboys. This is the top 10 talented Cowboys. Nobody's going to be wrong on the 10 favorites. But this is my top 10 talented Cowboys. The next video, I ain't going to tell you when it's coming, but it's going to be this week. It's going to be the top 10 favorites. So y'all stay tuned with Boss Cowboy Sports. Peace.